Hey everyone, how's it going?
Hey, we're so glad you're here today. We can't wait to get started. We have so much to teach you today. It's going to be so much fun. We're really looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, we are really excited. We are streaming right now live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. It looks like Facebook is telling me they have a problem. So let me see if I can get it to
So
go
we're
on
going to
Facebook. But we're going to dive right in. So
Well, don't worry. We'll give everyone a couple minutes to jump on because some people don't get on there right at the top of the hour. But we're going to give you some great stuff while we're waiting. Jen's going to make sure all the technical stuff is working and all of that. So StreamYard is something that we use. And if you haven't used it, it does live to all of these different places. So welcome if you signed up to be here today. If you signed up through the link, Elite Bestseller, .com
author,
forward slash
mhm,
what's the other part,
author
Jared? Author challenge. So elitebestseller.com forward slash author challenge. Then you're going to get some freebies like thank yous for attending today. So if you are joining us just through the live stream, go check out that link. I'm sure Jen will have it in the chat so you can grab it and put your name and email in there. And then you'll get the free goodies that we're giving away for just coming today. So make sure you do that. That's some of like the housekeeping of it all. We are going over a bunch of stuff today, and it's really about writing your book. And if you're wondering, like, if you're here for the first time, who in the heck are Melanie Johnson and Jenn Foster? Well, we're the owners and founders of Elite Online Publishing. My background is I started as a TV anchor. Can you believe that? All those years ago. So I was a TV anchor in Detroit and Houston, Texas, and then was partial owner of TV stations in Houston and Dallas with my former husband, Johnson Broadcasting, and I was vice president of that. And it was $100 million business at one point. But now I believe TV is the dinosaur, right? You can create your own content, create your own credibility. The veil has been pulled off of books and creating videos, and everyone can have their own TV station now. So I love how it's all transformed. And I've believed that, gosh, since way back in 2008. I did not want to stay in the television business. I wanted to move forward into this new horizon. And now the new horizon is really AI. Just like the internet, it's changing everything. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today, too.
Yes, I'm really excited to dive into that, but I want to give out some shout outs. We have a lot of people here today watching. So we have Sarah Bells, welcome, and Nobby, our old time friend in
Nabi!
Australia. Good to see you.
And
And
Nabi, I want to shout out. Nabi's launching a book that's coming out. So check out his new book. I'm not sure exactly the date that it's launching, but it's coming up soon. He just posted some cover ideas and title ideas. Congratulations, Nabi.
yeah, congrats, Nobby. And we also have Samar and Zulkameen. I probably didn't say that right. Sorry.
Hey, Samar.
And there's Everett. So thank you guys for being here. We're really excited to get into this training.
Yep. And then, Jen's background is she's from the retail space, where she owned a bunch of kiosks, and she learned how to make websites, and she was a website developer for a long time. So we really bring a lot of marketing to the table in the back besides book publishing. So I always love that combination about the two of us. And, I want to say, if you're writing a book, working on a book, I know it's hard. I get it. We get it. We're in the process of writing a book ourselves that we had on the table, like in our minds for 3 years, literally at least 3 years. And we're like, we should write this different book. It should be more like a thought leadership kind of publishing book. And we would put it on our list. It was about 3 years ago. We were having one of our powwow meetings, and we were probably thoroughly caffeinated at the time and brainstorming. Oh, yeah, that would be a great idea. And I don't know if many of you have done that. Like, I should write a book about this. People tell me I should write a book about this. And then it just keeps going to the bottom of your list. And,
Right. Like who here is writing a book currently? Put in the comments yes if you're writing a book right now, like you're currently writing one.
Yeah, you're working on it. And if you're thinking about, or if you've ever thought about writing a book, I'd love to hear that too. Like, yes, I've thought about writing a book. That would be great to hear. So like a lot of you, you have the thought and years go by. One of our authors the other day told me, I have a friend. She's been talking about writing a book for 20 years. 20 years. And he goes, you know what? She's never going to write that book. And almost like he didn't have respect for her because she's been talking about it but not taking action, and it really reflected on the image that he had of her, like, oh, she's never going to do that, like she's just all talk and hot air, but it does keep you up at night, don't you think, Jen?
Oh yeah. Well, and I procrastinate and get distracted, like there's social media, and then you got like kid stuff, and then you got, all these things just keep coming at you, and then you just keep putting it on the back burner, right?
Yeah. And Jen and I were talking, we were in Miami last week. We were doing a workcation together, which was really fun. And she was saying, having this on my mind was giving me like a pit in my stomach. Like I would wake up periodically on different weeks, like, oh, we
What was I
said we were
calling
going to do
it?
that.
I was calling it like gut anxiety or something. Like I would just like wake up and feel like, oh, I have this, like I just feel like I should get this done, and I'm not crafting out time to do it. So
Yeah, didn't take the steps, not crafting out. So it kind of affects your health when you know you want to do something or accomplish something and you're not getting anywhere with it. It does cause that stress and anxiety. And we get it because we've had the same thing, and we're even in the publishing business. So we get that. And, today there's so many new tools and so many things you can use. And Jen and I have spent hours and hours, probably 100 hours at least since AI has come out, figuring out what's out there, what we can use, what we can't use. And there's big news on the horizon today. We're making a big announcement of something that just happened that we just found out really moments before this, because we belong to an amazing mastermind group that have publishers and marketers in it. Shout out to Everett, because he's the one who is part of that group and started that group. So so we want to announce that. So make sure you stay to the end to hear what has really changed with Amazon. And they just announced, and we just found out that's just really crazy with AI. That kind of changes everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, let's kind of go over a little bit. Like I'm sure you're just like us and you're procrastinating writing your book. So let's just go over what we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to be doing the 3 ways to make money with the book. We're going to be, of course, there's a lot more, but we're also going to be going over what every best-selling author knows, and maybe what they're not going to tell you, but we're going to tell you today. And then we're also going to cover the ways to write your book fast using artificial intelligence.
Yep. So we've got so much to go over. And, we have published over 3,000 books in the amount of time we've been in business for 8 years now. We've published over 3,000 books. We work with a variety of authors, from people who are just starting with their business, who don't, like Heather Ross. I think she had like 4 people on her list, but that she wrote her book to kickstart her business. And then we've worked with people who are presidents of NFL teams and chambers of commerce. So we've worked with a variety of people through all the different things. So I think let's dive in, Jen, and get started with the first section of ways to make money with your book. That's probably the biggest question we get all the time is, okay, so I'm going to make this investment, and it is an investment into your book. Right? It's something that you have to invest time, money, resources in. So when do I get my money back? How are ways that I can get my money back with this new resource and this tool?
Yeah. All right. So let's dive in. So here are the 3 ways to make money with your book. And the first one is the foot in the door strategy. Now, this one is actually one of my favorite strategies. And because it's kind of like, how you have someone maybe in mind that you want to do business with, but you never can get past that gatekeeper. You can't really get in front of them. And so this is the best strategy to get in front of that person. And of course, you have to have a book first in order to do this. But once your book is live on Amazon and published, you can go to Amazon, and if you have Prime shipping, it's just it takes 2 days to ship a book anywhere in the United States, or even in the UK or Australia, right? So, well, of course you do need their address, right? But you're going to be mailing them a copy of your book from Amazon Prime, and you're going to mark it as a gift. And you're also going to gift wrap it. So it might cost a few extra dollars because you're going to gift wrap it, but Amazon puts it in a special package. And then if they have a secretary or some type of person, that's kind of going through their mail, they might say like, oh, here's Amazon. They're going to open it, and then it's going to be gift wrapped. So they're going to be like, oh no, this is a gift. I'm going to go and give this to the boss, right? So that gets past the gatekeeper. And then on top of that, once they open the book, you can include a note. Amazon has a place where you can add a gift receipt or a gift note, and you can include a note that says something like, read page 50, and I know this will help your business, or whatever you want to say on the note. I've even seen where people will do a special YouTube video, because on YouTube you can mark the video as unlisted, which means only the people who have the link can watch it. So I've even seen where someone will put a link to an unlisted YouTube video, and it's a private 30-second message or a minute message to that person. So there's so many ways you can get in front of that person, and then they have your book.
Yeah. Now think about this too. We say, you can send it right through Amazon Prime. If you send it personally, like you send it, you get the book to you and then you send it to them. I always recommend, they have those Post-it notes that are just little skinny tabs that you tab a page, that you have it sticking out on that page, like page 45, and you put the handwritten note, look on page 45. I think this is really going to impact your business. They're going to look at page 45. They can't help themselves. It's like an unfinished process. Look at this page. You're like, okay, I better look. If they look at nothing else, they'll look at that page that you did. And it's very, very important. I mean, Jenn's going to go through 2 more things, but she has a bunch of them. There's 20 more of how to make money with your book. We're just touching on a few right now, but it's so powerful that you get past the gatekeeper. Think about a client that you've wanted to get in front of, that you haven't been able to get in front of and don't know how to get in front of, that you could send this book to with that little note and the video that she talked about.
Yeah, we actually know in the book, Books to Bucks, we actually talk about where a gentleman wrote a book specifically for one job, like for one guy, so he could get a job. And he got the job. So it's pretty cool, right? Yeah, so let's move on to the next one. So the next one is capture leads. So I have to tell you, Amazon does not give you the names of your readers. I'm sorry, but they don't. They don't give you their address. They don't give you their names. They don't give you their emails. And so you have to capture that yourself. So lead capture is basically what we call a CTA. Who knows what a CTA is? If you do, put it in the chat. What is a CTA? Does anyone know? If you're in marketing, you know. I'm sure
Jason knows. Everett knows.
Yeah, Nobby and Everett know. Lisa might know. Jason might know. But a CTA is a call to action. And so we recommend that in the first few pages of your book, you put a call to action. Now we've heard, I don't want to be in their face. I'll just put it at the end. Well, actually, you want to put it, Everett's funny. He says, cool taco Alfredo. No, that's not what it means. It means call to action. Good job. The 7 Stone Agency. Good job. But yeah, so call to action. We recommend you put a call to action in the front of the book and the back of the book. And it can say the exact same thing. It could say, for bonuses or for more information, visit my website and have a QR code. It could say, go here and you'll get free videos. You can get free PDFs. There's all different things you can give away for your bonus, or you can just simply say for more information or for free resources, and then you can change it up, all the time. Visit my website.
You can even give discounts. You can give discounts. You can ask for them to sign up for a free consultation meeting or something. Yeah.
So what's really important about this and why this helps you make money with your book is Amazon has a look inside the book feature. And if it's at the end of the book, no one's going to see it. But if it's at the beginning of the book, maybe right before your table of contents, maybe right after your table of contents, then people can click on the link to go to get your services or to sign up. And that's where you put your lead capture information, which is put in your name and email in order to receive this thing. And then that way you get their name and email. And then, maybe your next book, you can be emailing them, or you'll have that contact information, right? So that is number 2.
And people might not even buy your book. They might just do the lead capture. And they're like, but I want them to buy my book. But the most important thing is that you get the lead capture so you can help them more and put them into your system, send them emails, send them newsletters, give them, links to webinars like we're doing today. So that's why it's so important to grow your list.
Yeah, I've even seen where they'll put in a link that says, sign up for a free consultation, or go here to book me to speak. Right. So if you're speaking on different stages, so there's lots of different ways to do that. And then my third and final way to make money with your book, because there is 21 ways in our book, but we're just giving you 3 today, is that you need a link to your book, and you need to put that everywhere. So what I mean by that is you're going to have a special link to your book. You're going to have a link to your Amazon author page if you claim your Amazon author page. And so you want to put that in your email signature. Every email that you send out should have a link to your book, because I think a lot of authors fail to do this, and that is tell people about their book. They're like, oh, I have a book, but don't want to tell anybody, right?
So
So
true.
no, like you got to tell everyone. You got to be like, okay, I have in my email signature, it has my Amazon author page. It says buy my book, or it just says visit my, check out my book, right? You can put it on your LinkedIn profile. There actually is a publication option on LinkedIn where you can add your publications. There's so many different places you can put a link to your book. Maybe you have a link tree for your Instagram page, linktree.com, and then one of those links is your book, right? So make sure you put your link everywhere you can think of so people can go buy your book. Not just on your website if you have a website, all of those things.
So another great idea, like Jenn mentioned, LinkedIn. A friend of mine, Larry Barton, he is a realtor and he's wanting to connect with other people. He's using a podcast link, but when you're connecting with people on LinkedIn, what you can do is go in, you get X amount of characters and you can say, hey, I'd like to, connect with you. And if you'd like to see more about me, here's a link to my book. And then you can put it in there so think about all the people that you're wanting to connect with on LinkedIn and send it to everybody. You can send a mass message to everybody to check out your book on LinkedIn and put that link there. Also, not necessarily a link, but the title, you should put the title that you're an author under your name. So on LinkedIn, it says who you are and what you do. But in our case, when you work with us, you would say best-selling author, because we guarantee you'll become a best-selling author. So you'd want to say, best-selling author, and then the other things that you do.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So we're going to save all the questions to the end. We're going to have a Q&A after we do all of our training. So if you have questions, write them down and then we'll go to them at the end. All right. So let's go back to our slides. All right. The next, what we're going to tell you is what every best-selling author knows but won't tell you. So the first one is compelling content. Now, what I mean by that is you need to have compelling content and you need to have a theme to your book. Now, you might be thinking, well, I don't know what to do for a theme, or a lot of people will come to us and say, I have all these ideas. I don't know what to write my book about. Well, one thing that we know about best-selling books is they're all centered around a theme. And if your book is centered around like 5 themes, then it's really confusing. Like you really need to hone in on one theme. Then when you're telling stories, it all comes back to this main theme. So I think you really have to have that, because what that does is give that compelling stories, and it kind of gives you that, if your book is about motivation, it's going to all be, all the little stories you tell are going to tie back to that motivation, right? So maybe your book is about peace, maybe it's about leadership. There's all these different themes that you could have your book around, but you really need to hone in on one, and that's what makes a best-selling book.
And so think of a theme like a thread, right? It's a continuing thread. And the point we want to make about this theme is if you get stuck writing your book, like you get off into the weeds, oh my gosh, I'm off over here in the weeds. This is a good story. That's a good story. But does it relate to the theme in your book? So for example, Joshua Evans, one of our authors, wrote a book about enthusiasm. He might tell a childhood story, but does it relate and give a lesson reverting back to enthusiasm? Does that story, tell the story of what you're trying to say? So I always like to say, my mind's getting ahead of me here, is like, think of it, if you've ever been to church and the minister is telling stories, he tells the scripture, right? But then he tells stories that all illustrate and give examples of what that scripture is teaching. So, and that's through the whole sermon. He's not giving you examples of another scripture that tie back into that wouldn't make sense. So that's what you want to do as a theme, keep it all in there. So like our author, Joshua Evans, his book is about enthusiasm. So every story and every point that he makes is pointing back to enthusiasm. Dr. Laura Murillo, international bestselling author that we published, her book is about diversity and inclusion. So everything she's talking about in that book and the stories she's telling, even about her childhood experiences, things are really giving examples to give that framework for diversity and inclusion. And then Alvin Ajay, his is a life journey. It's living life to your fullest without fear, but it's really about law, going through law school. So it's how he overcame fear. So all of his stories going through law school are how he got over fear of going through the whole process of being a lawyer.
Mm-hmm. And I think when you have a theme, it just really ties everything together.
Mm-hmm.
If any of you are the ones who said they're writing a book, or if you've been thinking about writing a book, put in the comments what your theme is. And if you don't know right now, just maybe put a couple ideas of what you're thinking it may be. And let's kind of bring up some people on what their new theme is. I know Nabi said he was writing a new book. He just finished his other one in 3 days, so now he's ready. And he's going to put his call to action is download for free cake. So there you go. I like that. That's great. We'll put in your theme to the book. And then let's get into the second ones. The second thing that every best-selling author knows, which is talk to the one person. So what I mean by that is when you're writing a book, a lot of times people will say, I'm going to write my book and I just want everyone to read it. I'm going to write it for everyone. And the problem with writing your book for everyone is that no one's going to read it. So, because you wrote it for everyone, you really need a specific niche, and you really need to be talking to that one person. Let's just bring these up really quick. Nabi's talking about money is the main theme of his book. Sarah is about survival. I love that. Great. Okay, so let's talk. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're good. Okay, let's talk about the one. So I'm sure you've heard of an avatar before. I'm sure you've heard of ideal client. I've even heard of it called an elk. But so I'm from Wyoming, so maybe the mountains here. Yeah. But you really want that one person. So to find your avatar, to find your ideal reader, you really want, before you start writing your book, you really want to hone in on who that is. Mm-hmm. So you might give them a name. You might say it's Sally or Jeff. You might say, okay, they're 30 years old or they're 50 years old. You might say it's a male or a female. And then you want to ask all the questions like, let's see, we said, how old are they? What if they're male or female? Are they married? Are they divorced? What do they like? I love that question. It's like, what does Sally like? Does she like all these different examples of, she likes to go to the movies. She likes to eat candy. No, I don't know, whatever it is, right? What does she hate? Oh, she hates when people say this, or this is her pet peeve. So kind of writing all these things down will really hone in on who that one person is, because then when you're writing your book, you're writing to that one person. Yeah. And the person who reads your book is going to say, they wrote this book for me.
It reminds me. Yeah. So, and that reminds me of the story when I started out as a newscaster, and when I was in Houston, the news director there, Mike Crew, he would tell me, Melanie, I want you to imagine you're not speaking to hundreds of thousands of people. I want you to imagine this guy, say he's about 40 years old. He has a pot belly. He's in his shorts, workout shorts, and a wife beater t-shirt. And he's sitting there tilted back in his reclining chair with a beer in his hand, and he's watching you do the news. That's who you're talking to. So every time you do that, imagine that's who you're talking to. And it really worked. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm just talking to this guy. It's just me and him. So it's the same way when you're writing a book. It's just you and that person that you're writing to. It's not all these other thousands of people you're trying to connect with. It's really that person. You're having that conversation with that one individual throughout your whole book.
Yeah. So we covered the first thing, which was the theme. And then the second thing is talking to the one. Mm-hmm. And then the third thing, or did we already do 3? Yeah. The third thing is really having there's a lot to it. So I'm going to put the slide up.
There's a bunch of other things that go into a great best-selling book. There's a whole list of things.
The number one thing is a great book cover, because everyone does judge a book by its cover. I'm telling you right now. Number 2 is a great book title. You could have one of my stories that I tell all the time about a book title is, I know you guys all know who Elizabeth Smart is. And I shouldn't call her out like this, but whoever her publisher was didn't do a very good job on her title, because they decided to do her title My Story. Well, if you search on Amazon My Story, guess how many books come up? Like 1,000 books come up because everyone uses that title. That's not the title. Of course, you know who Elizabeth Smart is, but it should really
Not
have
everyone knows who Elizabeth Smart is. You should tell them
but
who
not
is Elizabeth
everybody.
Smart.
Yeah, like she was abducted. And anyway, I just really think you need to make sure that your title tells what your book's about and who it's for. So My Story, is pretty general. So I think they could have done a better job on that title. Of course, you have to have a great book description. And Melanie is going to dive into some ideas on AI on how you can come up with a great book description. And then, of course, you want to have endorsements and reviews. Now, some people are like, I don't even know what an endorsement is, right? So an endorsement is really a review, but it's by someone notable, somebody who, has credentials, or maybe people know who they are, their name. So you want to have endorsements. And the reason why these are really good is you can add them to your Amazon book page. That's your sales page, and have your endorsements above where all the actual Amazon book reviews are. So it's really good to have endorsements. And of course, the best books have a foreword. And usually the foreword isn't written by you. It's written by somebody else. Again, somebody notable, right? And that also relates to the theme of your book. So that's always important too. And then an author bio. I see so many books where I want to see who the author is and like read about the author, and then go to the back of the book and there's nothing there. They didn't put in their author bio at the back of the book. And of course, we already talked about call to action. You got to have a call to action in your book. So those are all the factors of creating a best-selling book.
And all the other 21 ways are in Books to Bucks.
Yeah,
that Jenn wrote. So we're going to dive into now AI. So if you don't know what AI is, artificial intelligence, it's been around for a while, but it really exploded. It came out in November of last year, where they started ChatGPT. And I heard about it, I think, from my son first. And then I was like, okay, I wrote a note on a Post-it next to my bed because he texted me like at midnight. Okay, I should check this out. And I didn't do it. Then another friend of mine who has sons my age said, have you seen this ChatGPT thing? Oh my gosh, you can write an essay with it. You can do all these things. I'm like, I better go check it out. But I want to say, Jenn and I have been using a form of AI. Grammarly is like a form of AI, but we've been using another platform that I'll tell you about in a minute. Actually, two platforms that we've been using for a year, maybe 2 years, over 2 years for one of the platforms that we've been using already. So when ChatGPT came out, we're like, oh, this is just kind of what we've been using on steroids a little bit. So what we're going to talk about, we're going to give you some of our favorite tools. And just because you signed up today, you're going to get our favorite AI cheat sheet. So we're going to send that to you if you signed up. If you didn't sign up, go to Bestseller Solutions /author challenge. And then get that, sign up, and then we'll send that to you. Okay. So you'll have the cheat sheet. So it'll have some of the things I'm covering today, but all the other things that Jenn and I are using and that we've discovered on our journey. So we're going to do that today. We're going to talk about what's possible with AI, what you should use it for, and kind of what you shouldn't use it for. Understanding how to use prompts. It's all about the prompts, right? So we're going to talk about that as well as the prompts. And then we're going to do some real-time demos right here. So you can and see how we use it and what we're doing with it right in real time. So let me ask you, how many of you know what ChatGPT is? And are you using it? So if you know it, say yes. If you're using it, say yes, yes, or yes, no. So let me just see if you're actually using ChatGPT. And I'm going to preface this by ChatGPT 4. Are you using ChatGPT 4? All right, because there's different versions of it. 4 is the topmost, it's the smartest version of the whole thing. So let's see if you know how to use that. And so what is it really doing? So really, first of all, I want to say it's not the end all be all. You shouldn't copy and paste and use it word for word. There were some lawyers who thought they could create some responses and use them in court. And ChatGPT only goes to 2021. And it does a thing called hallucinations. If it doesn't know the content or the answers, it makes it up. So all of the stuff they put in there and the cases that it referred to didn't exist. So you really have to be careful, and you really have to do fact checking with it, okay? What we like to use it for, I think it really compresses time. It's going to be your best friend, right? It helps you with writer's block. It helps you with time management. When you have self-doubt, like if you're going in the right direction or need more information, I think it helps with that. If you're trying to be too perfect, I think it gets you that way. The lack of motivation that we talked about earlier, like you're not motivated, if you use this to generate some ideas, it really gets your creative juices going and get you excited and get you wanting to move forward. So I think it really helps that. And it's really terrific for editing and revisions and things like that. And it can help you find the right voice, and it helps you with not procrastinating and the distractions anymore and getting inspiration. So what exactly is ChatGPT and AI in writing? So it really uses machine learning and the algorithms to analyze and generate the text. So it's really a powerful, powerful tool for writers. I don't think in my mind that it's going to replace writers. I think people are just going to become prompt engineers or prompt writers and editors. So you really have to edit this thing. So you may even you can do one where you're putting the prompts in to get ideas, or you may be writing something and then you want to get it edited and get some additional ideas with it. So I don't think it's going to replace writers. So you don't have to get nervous if you're a writer, an editor. I think you're still going to have a job with that. So I think it just assists you in the creative process and in the various stages, whether it's writing, brainstorming, or editing. And it really does increase your productivity and helps you overcome that writer's block. Those are some of the things I really think it really helps you do. So one of the tools, and we're actually running it right now, that Jenn and I have been using for a very long time, is called Otter, OTTER.ai. So this tool, we use it in so many different ways. So Jenn might pull it up right now. You can kind of see we are running it in the background right now. And what it does is it records the audio to a conversation, whether it's a podcast, an interview, something on your computer, something over a conversation that you're just having, and it transcribes it in real time. What I love about this, like you can hit command shift 2, I think it was, right? Command twice, and it will do that, but it doesn't give you the audio part. And I really love having the audio because a lot of these transcription places are not exact. They're still a little clunky. So this way you're getting the audio, you can go back and say, they didn't say slip, they said something else, so it really gives it. So you can see it's really saying what I'm saying right now. So it's really a beautiful tool. You can use it in a variety of ways. So we just love that. So you can use it to, like I say, record interviews, video training. How you're going to say like, well, how do I use this for my book, Melanie? How am I going to get to use this? This doesn't seem really helpful for that. So if you're a talker versus a writer, I'm a talker, Jenn's a talker. We would much rather talk. I can't tell you how many times I would sit to write, like work on one of our books. Literally, I would write the same paragraph 5 or 6 times. Then I go get a cup of coffee. Then I would look at my emails. I'd be on Instagram because it's just I'm kind of a perfectionist in that way. Like, should I say it this way? Should I say it that way? Versus if you just get it all out of your system and talk it out. So it may feel kind of odd talking to yourself. Like, okay, I'm just talking to myself. So I love it when I'm talking to someone. Like if Jenn and I jump on a Zoom together, or you have a friend that comes over and you say, hey, can you ask me all these different questions? These are the points I want to make in my book. Like how to be a great entrepreneur. What's the best way to lead your team, and get into that conversation. And then you can go and have all that transcription and then edit it from there. So I think it's really, really a great tool for that. For if you're trying to write your book, that's how I would suggest that you use it. All right, so let's go into ChatGPT. Pretty exciting. Okay, so I want to do a live demo here. Who in the audience, everyone put into chat what you do and the problem you solve. So Nabi might be a great one, but we want to know, like if you're a realtor in a certain area and the types of houses that you sell. Right. So give me something like that. If any of you want to put that into the chat, and I'll do this for you real time while we're here today.
Yeah. So what do you do? What problem do you solve? That's what we want to know.
Yeah. And or the benefits that we have. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we are going to create some mock-up titles for a book. And then we are going to make an outline for the book in real time in a structure so you can see kind of how that all works. And then we have some other stuff to reveal. We still have another tool we want to show you. And then we have our big reveal of the news today in AI. So Jen, do we have anybody chiming in? If not, then we'll just make up something.
So we have Sarah, and she says she is a copyright. Let's see, I'll put it up. I'm a copywriter, so I use it to create social media posts every day. So we could use something like that.
Okay.
Okay, I'll share my screen. We have Abby. He says, a financial advisor, creating software to help manage money. Bernice is saying she's a speaker related to genealogy. So we have those 3 examples. Karen says she writes email campaigns for Elite, so she's a copywriter. All right, well, let me share my screen.
Okay. So she's going to pull up ChatGPT.
Yeah,
and then
can everyone see that? Okay, I think everyone can see that.
I might have to pull my glasses on to see it.
Okay. All right, so this is ChatGPT. To get here, you go to open.ai and then click on ChatGPT, and you'll have to sign in and create an account. And then you can subscribe, which gives you the ChatGPT 3.5 and ChatGPT 4, or you can just use the regular one for free. It's free right now.
Okay. So do you want to grab? I guess we could do Nobby Sis's real clear cut on what he wants to do.
Okay.
And so we want to say the prompt in there is to create create 7 book titles and subtitles.
Keep telling me what, and I'll type what you say.
Yeah, so 7 for a book about, and then copy and paste what Nobby said in there.
Okay, it doesn't let you copy and paste from the comments, but so we'll just put financial advisor to eliminate debt and create wealth.
Okay, so financial advisor to eliminate debt and create wealth.
Okay, anything else?
Is there a specific audience it's for?
We could put that in there. Yeah, because usually we didn't go over our title formula, but usually you want to say who it's for. So Nobby's like, oh, another book. Okay, let's just
go ahead and click, and we can always add more questions. So that's the thing about ChatGPT is you put something in there and you're like, that's not quite exactly what I wanted. So then you just ask another question and it goes further. So look at all these titles it just pulled out.
Perfect. Oh, I like that. The wealth building paradox. There you go.
I like that too. How a
breaking free from debt. Yeah, you read it, Melanie.
Oh yeah, the 0 to hero. Let's see. First one we have is scroll up a little bit, Jen. I can't see the first one. There we go. Debt-free wealth strategies to master your finances. A financial advisor's guide to transforming debt into prosperity. Wealth builders playbook. Navi, do you like any of those? Or do you want us just to pick one? See if you like, type which number you like after you've looked through these and see which looks best. Debt demolition.
Nabi's saying women over 45, professional women.
So you can go in there and say, rewrite these titles geared towards women over 45 years old.
Even I can't type. Perfect. There we go.
Let's see what it comes up with.
Absolutely, it says.
Financial bliss. Financial freedom after 40. A woman's journey to prosperity.
So many great titles. So you can see how fast this can just generate
Okay,
Generate
let's
title.
grab one of those in there.
Okay.
Let's say scroll down a little bit. Let's see. I like number 6. Let's grab number 6.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Copy title too, I think. You want to copy title.
Okay.
And then you want to say, before you copy it in there, say, yeah, she always likes to be nice to chat. Now write a book outline and structure for this book title.
Oh, it's going fast. Part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4.
Isn't that pretty cool? So scroll back up, Jen, so people can kind of take a look at this. So, I'm not going to read everything, but we'll kind of just do the titles a little bit. So embracing financial empowerment, and for your introduction, understanding your financial landscape, assessing your financial health, how to evaluate current financial situations, setting clear financial goals, directing debt, tackling debt heads on. So just look at all this content in here. So again, don't want to necessarily copy and paste this. I think you need to actually rework it in your own words of you saying it. And we'll tell you why in a few minutes, why that's so important to do that. But you can see how that generates ideas for you so quick. Isn't that just amazing? Like, we sit sometimes for a long time coming up with titles and subtitles for books and trying to brainstorm different words. So what we've been doing now is we'll use that, but then we'll have our whole team together and grab bits and pieces from the different titles and subtitles that we had to come up with what we think is really the best. And then we run it through a whole nother process to make sure it's the right title and subtitle in there. So that's kind of how that works. But I think that's so cool, right? And then for writing, you can go on and grab a chapter of that and say, write me a chapter on this and give me more detail on this. So I just wanted to tell you, like, we charge for ghostwriting, like a whole ghostwriting is very expensive. It can be $100,000, $75,000, and for publishing everything, $150,000 plus to do ghostwriting. Very, very expensive. So, but this is just to give you ideas and an outline and to get you going, right? Now, another tool that we use is called Jasper. Jasper, we've been using it since April of 2021. I look back, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we've been using Jasper that long. So we
That's
use
a long time.
It is a long time. We've been
because that's AI, and people are like, oh, AI is new. It just came out last December. It's like, no, actually, it's been around for a while. They just actually opened it up for everyone, right? So Jasper's been using AI forever.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Since
it's been around. And if you haven't heard of it, so look it up, jasper.ai. All right, so we use it a lot for emails, blogs, short form content, getting headline ideas, subject line ideas. It's great for all of that. But I want to show you just an idea. Jen is grabbing just a paragraph from my book, Life Legacy Challenge. And we use this part of Jasper more than anything else, right? We use it for all the other things, but we use the content rewriter a lot. And
can you see my screen? You can see my screen, right?
I can see it, yeah.
Okay,
so perfect. What we did is she just put a paragraph in, and obviously it's written in my tone of voice. And we said, well, we want to see something very different. So we said, make this funny and lighthearted and compelling. And then we said, whose tone of voice it's in. We said, we want it funny in the voice of Ryan Reynolds. So here, my book is more about, leaving a legacy, kind of this sincere type of thing. So she's going to hit content generator, and it'll give you 3 different options when you do this. And it happens pretty fast. So again, you might want to take bits and pieces of this. So Lovis, if you were kicking back next week, what genius would you want to do?
It actually says, if you were kicking the bucket next week, what genius would you want to pass on? That's what Ryan Reynolds would say.
Yeah. And then a side note, did you know these baby boomers are like brainy, skilled gurus of the workforce? So, it's just a whole different tone, right? And then let's first one, imagine you only had 1 week to live. what life-altering wisdom would you want to give? I mean, it's just a totally different thing, right? And then you can copy and paste this, put it into a Word doc, but then rework it, but just if you want ideas, and then edit it. So go into the templates, Jen, just so go back to Jasper one more time. Sorry about that. And then just go into the templates so they can kind of see an idea of all the things that you can do, just so you see the menu. I want you to get a good look of the menu of things that you can do when you're in Jasper. So she's going to go out of there and she's going to go to the templates.
Oh yeah, right here.
Yeah, right there. And then see all these different things. And at the top, it's like ads, blogs, business, all these different things that you can go into, SEO, social media.
Use email. Social media. We had someone talk about social media, web design.
So it's really cool. And if, Jen and I are doing videos a lot, we have a YouTube channel, we have 2 podcasts that we do. So we're out there a lot. So I can ask ChatGPT and Jasper to write in my tone of voice, and it can find me and it knows that. So it's starting to learn who I am. So it's getting my voice. It's not exact for sure, but at least it's giving you an idea. So now I want to there's a fire brewing over there at Amazon, and I want to make you aware that there is a fire so nobody gets in trouble. So there have been people doing YouTube videos and different things that are like, oh man, you can pump these books out. Some of even our mentors, man, we're going to pump these books out. I'm going to do a book a month. And, but now Amazon has now put a section when you go to upload your book into KDP, it's asking you if you've used AI to create any of your book, if you've used AI to create any of your images. So they are saying if you have an AI generated book, this is really not agreeing with their terms and services that they just updated. Now you can do AI assist, which means you can use Grammarly, you can use tools that will edit your content. But we think there's so many gray areas. So just be aware. If you're going to be copying and pasting and think you can create a book, then you might get in trouble. And books have already been flagged and taken down. And it's possible you could get your account banned and you won't be able to publish anything. So you want to be really, really careful how you use this. I think it's a great research tool. We were having this discussion today. Well, you go on the internet to research something. And then you pull the best things from the internet. Is that considered using AI? Versus if you ask AI, give me the best resources for this, or analyze these resources and give me the top 10 tips from this. Can you use those tips? So there's really a lot of gray area. And Amazon is asking you, if you say yes, they're saying, well, did you use this to edit all of your, did you use 100% of AI? Did you use it for without editing? Did you edit some of your book? Did you edit a minimal amount of your book with it? So, and it's almost, I feel like you're almost calling yourself out. If you say, yeah, I used AI, are they going to say, well, thanks for telling us and be honest, now we're blocking your book. But then we did a test in the group today that we said, as an author, search ChatGPT. And there were books that came up that said they were authored by a person's name and ChatGPT. So I don't know if those will stay up or if that's Amazon's way of saying, if you do say you've used it, then we're going to put it down as an author. So it's the wild, wild west. We really don't know exactly what's going on, but know that we're staying on top of it. Jen and I are always researching. We're always belonging to mastermind groups and watching videos, going to conferences. I'm going to another conference in Milwaukee next week. I just got back 3 weeks ago from another conference. That we're staying on top of all these things, whether you use AI for your personal use or you want to use it to write a book. And there is another editing tool that just came out. I will, full disclosure, we haven't experimented with it. It does have good reviews, called Pro Writing Aid. It's kind of like a Grammarly, but it's a little bit more advanced.
Yeah, so I can show that one really quick.
Yep. Too. And then what I want to say is what you should do to be a prompt engineer is you should remain curious. Like that's what works with ChatGPT and even with Jasper, right? Is be curious. Make sure to be a generalist, but then also a detailed generalist, if that makes sense. And you have to be willing to experiment and to stack prompts. Like if you didn't get what you wanted the first time, ask it again, try it a different way, see what it comes up with. So, and then you really have to keep yourself knowledgeable of what's available and an abundance mindset. So anything is possible. You don't have to have an education to use ChatGPT and AI. There's no limiting factors. Anybody can use it. So one thing I kind of want to revert back when Jen and I were talking about using, writing our book. One of the things that really helped us was to have accountability. We created an accountability way that making sure that we met every week to work on our book. And it really was helpful to get that done. So you have to make sure that you have accountability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that we're similar to you. So if you ever feel like you're procrastinating or, I just can't get my book written, just know that if you have the accountability, you're going to get it done sooner than if you don't, right? It's just like if you do a weight loss program and you don't have a partner to do it with, you usually fall out after like 3 days. But if you have a partner to do it with, then they're showing up with you to work out, so you can't let them down. So you're going to be there to work out with them.
So what are the things that have kept you from writing your book? Has it been time? Has it been money? Has it been direction? Has it been accountability? Put in the chat some of the things that may have stopped you from writing your book and just got you stalled, writer's block, whatever it is. So today, Jen and I want to help you to get your book written because they say 80% of the world wants to write a book, but only 1% actually writes a book. So we want you to be part of that 1% and get your book written. That's our goal, is to get you to write your book, tell your story, get the momentum going for your business, leave a legacy, all of those things. So we came up with a whole group of things that we thought that would help you to get over that hump and finally get your book written. So Jen, why don't you pull up that slide of what we're going to offer people today if they would like to get their book written and know what's going to happen. So Jen and I, one of the things, we have a course that we did that's called Book Writing Fast Pass course that takes you step by step by step. But the other thing I think that holds people back is really, I need help to get that structure to get started. Sure, I can use AI for some of that, but how would you like to meet with a ghostwriter that works with people all the time and a book writing coach that can help you get that started, to have a one-on-one meeting with them to really get clarity. AI is great, but I really like having that personal human touch. I can get immediate feedback and bounce those ideas back and forth, which is different than AI. So we are going to connect you where you're going to get that. You are also going to get accountability with Jen and I for 3 weeks, which is about the time it takes to get through the course. Because you might say, I've bought courses before, but then I don't do them. So that's why Jen and I included where you're going to have meetings with us every week for 3 weeks and accountability, go through your questions, get some clarity, walk through some of the strategies.
Your homework. Yeah. Help you to know like how to use the AI and how to like change the AI so it's not full on AI.
And if you're like me, I know when I have something due, we've been in different groups and I'm like, oh my gosh, I was supposed to do this. The meeting's today. I got to go. Oh my gosh, I got to get this done. I don't want to be that person that shows up that didn't do what I was supposed to do. So I really feel like it's so much more helpful when you have that. The other thing which we've been teaching you out of today is our new book called The Strategic Writing System that we just launched. It came out just recently. So this book, you're going to get this book and the ebook. I don't know about you. I love ebooks, but I am also a physical person. So we will mail you a copy of this book. I love to highlight things. I love to mark it up. There's places to write things in here. So you are going to get the book as well. So you're going to get the course. You're going to get the ebook and the paperback book. You're going to get the 3 weeks of accountability. You're also going to get, after that, we're going to have a follow-up call to see where everybody is and announce their book, that they're done writing their book. Plus, you're going to get, let's go to the bonus section, Jen. Do you have the bonuses up there? So yes. The bonuses are, you're going to get that one-on-one, which is really rich. That one-on-one structure meeting, I just think is so rich to have, to be able to meet with a professional ghostwriter and book coach and have them flush out what you had. I had to do a speech not too long ago, and I just was in my head. I was using AI, but it wasn't coming up with the thing. And then I had this coaching meeting for speaking. And in that half hour, we flushed it out. I was like, this is brilliant. This is exactly what I needed to do. So it helped me so much more than anything else I had done. So we really wanted to include that in here with you. You're also going to get an author framework sheet, which I think is so cool that you're going to have that to reflect on all the time. And then you're also going to get a recording and a transcript of our live stream that you saw we were doing in Otter today. And we're going to give you the top takeaways so you can just look at like that simple sheet of what we said that day. Okay. And then, of course, for just showing up, you're going to get our AI cheat sheet as well. So let me know if you have any questions about that. The price of this is $497. There we go. It's a $15,000 value for just $497. And why are we offering it so inexpensive? It's because we really want you to write your book. We really want to help you. You know, the economy is kind of tight right now. We want you to have your brand that you can use this book as a cornerstone for your business, create tons of content from it, and generate more business because you wrote a book, get more credibility because you wrote a book, get more media attention because you wrote a book. And then when you have this, you can use AI, which we're going to show you on one of our meetings, to create all kinds of content in so many different ways that you're not going to have to think about what you're supposed to put on social media because you'll have it all written in your book.
Yeah. So I just put the link in the comments. So you just go to elitebestseller.com/challenge. And like Melanie was saying before, you know, I think it's almost at 90% now, not 80% of people say they want to write a book, but 1% actually does it. It's probably less than 1% now, just because people don't have the time. They don't make the time. I see Sarah here. She's saying she has a whole series of fiction books she wants to write, and she loves using AI to research the historical information, which is a great way to write the book. But all of her time right now is spent helping other people write. So that would be great, Sarah, for you to write for yourself.
Yeah, it would really hold your feet to the fire, Sarah, where you know you're like, I'm doing this. I've been talking about doing it, but now I'm actually doing it.
Yeah. So just like our authors, like Lauren Golden, she wrote a book with us. She helps moms to leave their jobs. And so she wrote a book about free mama. So you can become a freelancer. And her book has helped her. Like she's sold so many of her course because she wrote that book and got it done. We have authors that are still procrastinating and don't have their books done yet. And they're just missing out on so many opportunities, right? It's still not done. Melanie and I have been working for the last 5 months or so, getting our thought leadership book done. And we've just been meeting like every other week or once a week to get all the chapters written. And it just feels so good having that book done. I mean, we still have to, go over the drafts of it and stuff and edit it and everything, but just saying like the content is now down. Like it just feels so good that we have all the content down. And now we'll just be going and editing and revising and adding stories and all of the ending stuff of the writing. So I'm really excited about that.
To think about is all the people you're not serving, right? When someone publishes a book, their friends and family are going to get involved. They're going to be excited for you. They're affected by that. Like if you say you're going to publish and you don't, even my kids, when we have this other book we've been talking about, they're like, yeah, Mom, you've been talking about that. So what message does that send to my kids? That I'm a procrastinator, so you get to be a procrastinator too? Really? So, but like usually a book affects a minimum of 1,200 people, right? Like 200 of your family and friends and about 1,000 other people that are going to get affected from your book that could change someone's life. And your book is something that lasts a lifetime. So how many times have you bought a book of someone who's not even around anymore? They passed away, but their book is still out there changing lives and making an impact on people. So Norman Vincent Peale, his book still makes an impact on people. People still are listening to it and reading it. So think of that. It's really a shame. I had an amazing thing happen to me. I always tell people you never know whose hands your book is going to get into. And sometimes we get closed in our little circle, like, well, I'm in Houston here. Here's my little bubble. But really, when you write a book, you become global. You're affecting people all over the world. And you're like, yeah, sure, right. Well, let me tell you, I had someone write me a letter. He was an American citizen, but he was in a Japanese prison. So here's someone in a Japanese prison halfway around the world that wrote a letter to me saying he got my book. I'm not sure how he got my book, but he got my book, and it was called the Life Legacy Challenge. And he said, I am going to write my story of how I ended up in prison here. This has really given me hope and giving me a purpose and a passion to be here now, that I can write my story, because I feel like I was wrongfully imprisoned, that this won't happen to somebody else. I can't tell you how that made my heart feel. I was like, oh my gosh, I touched somebody halfway around the world with my book. I just
Right.
wouldn't be able to do that by just, hanging out here in Houston. It changes all the people that you reach. If you're writing a business book, you're thinking, I'm going to reach people anywhere across the world. We have people now that reach out to us from Italy, from Australia, from the UK because of our books. They have found us through our books. So I just want to say, if you want to open your world up and be much bigger and have a much bigger global reach, and
Mhm.
affect a whole lot more people with your wisdom, your knowledge, your expertise, your stories, even if it's a fiction story, people are touched by fiction stories. That now is the time to do it. You can get in, you've got the team of people behind you to get it written. And how would it feel to say, I wrote my book? Remember, I've been talking about it for the last several years, but here it is.
Yeah.
I've got it done. Here's the manuscript. So our
Right.
goal is to get this done, 60 days, and have you get this book written and have get it done. So you have the manuscript in your hands. So please join us. We would love to have you in here.
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot of fun, because we're a lot
Yeah.
of fun. So on these meetings, they're not going to be like, oh, what a drag. We're going to have a good time. So
Yeah.
know that we're
I
going to.
wanted to Yeah, I wanted to share some other books of people that we've helped write their books. So Robert Goforth, he wrote a book for just to get a promotion, just to get a job. So he actually wrote the book on how to hack the corporate ladder and move your career to the next level. And he wrote it specifically so he could get a promotion and a job. And he did it. He changed jobs and got that promotion and higher up because he wrote his book. So I just love that people just use their book to help their business, whatever they're doing. And you want to tell them about Amy Lawrence? I'll pull her book up.
Oh yeah, Amy Lawrence did such a great job. She did. She worked with us to get her book written and published, and she got people right away that were joining her membership because of her book. So she did a cookbook. She's amazing. Super cubes. She has super cubes. She recommends those. I've been using those to store food in. So it just goes to show that really helped launch a whole nother part of her business. She wanted to launch a membership program, and to launch the membership program, she was like, I think I need to write a book. And we're like, oh yeah, you definitely need to write a book. And that helped launch her membership program. So it's just pulled people in, and she's just done an amazing job. So if you're thinking or you're on the fence of getting this done, now is the time to do it. You would have the book written before the holidays. So wouldn't it be great to know that you're starting out, you ended the 2023 with getting your book written, right? And it's tax deductible because it's going towards marketing you, and advertising yourself. And if it's a fiction book, then it's going towards a product that you're creating. So it's tax deductible. I'm not an accountant, but that's what they tell me. And then you can kick off 2024 being an author. I mean, how amazing would that be? So envision yourself just like us holding this book, right? That you've got the book in your hands, you're feeling it, you can give it to people, you can announce it on social media, that how cool that sounds. And then we would encourage you, as part of the process and our coaching that we're going to tell you, is to start posting about it. Even when you're in the creating process, it helps with that accountability as well. So does
Yeah.
anyone have any questions about what we're delivering in the package, or questions? Please ask any questions you had about things that we taught today. So if
Yeah, we
anything,
do have a couple questions, so I'll read them and then you can answer them.
sure.
How much money or how much does it cost for the AI challenge for freelancers? So it's the same for everyone. It's $497, and you can go by just going to the. Let me take that down there. elitebestseller.com/challenge.
And that's
then
in
we
the
have
chat, right, Jen? Or it's pulled up there?
Yep. And then we have another. Yeah, I added it to the chat. I have another question here. Do you offer programs to help with marketing? I'm done with my script, but my editor shut down our company and left 40 of us left with nothing. We need help releasing it. So do you want to address that one?
Sure. Yes, we do have that. And you may be one of the group of 40 that we have talked to, if that's Brad Schliff's group. So Mark, if that's with Brad's group, if she's one of those 40, yeah, we do have special programs for them because we feel awful that you were
the editor shut down our company.
Yeah. Well, the whole book publishing company, if it's her. So Mark, I don't know if you were with Brad's group, say yes, and let me know. But even for people like that, we had somebody that reached out to us yesterday from Scribe Media and who shut their doors and went out of business just abruptly. And so many people got left behind. An author I talked to yesterday had already spent $30,000 and really doesn't have much of anything. So he has his manuscript that still has to be edited, but doesn't have a book cover, doesn't have formatting, nothing. So the book still has to be fully published and marketed. So we do have special offerings for people in that situation. So go to us and look on our website for that and fill out the author submission form there. So eliteonlinepublishing.com and go to the author submission form and then just put down if you are part of Brad's group or if you were with Scribe Media.
Yeah. And then I'm just pulling up the screen again for the AI author challenge. So this is the challenge. So this is just a recap again of what you get. So for $4.97, you get our strategic writing system, best-selling book, paperback copy, as well as ebook. And then you get the book writing fast pass course that walks you step-by-step with videos, 3 modules that help you, and then live training for 3 weeks. And then on top of that, the accountability call. The accountability is key. So we can make sure that you're on track and that you've written your book.
Yep. So you get 3 weeks of that, plus the bonus 4th one, plus the one-on-one meeting with the ghostwriter book coach. I just think that's huge, huge, huge. So that's a bonus we've never even offered before. So this is all going away. The offer ends on Monday. So if you want to do it, take action now and join us. It's going to be so much fun. And you're going to get your book done. How great is that going to feel? No more sleepless nights, no more waking up with anxiety. Oh yeah, that was on my list, or looking at your list, or a friend asking you, weren't you going to write a book? You're like, yeah. Well, what are you doing on that? Nothing. So you don't have to say that anymore and be embarrassed. I'm working on it. It's almost done. It's in progress. Won't that feel great? And I think you'll just be less stressed. It'll make you feel healthier and happier. And then it's going to be a new revenue stream for you as well. So you're going to have a book, that'll be finished, that you'll be ready to publish, that you can start generating revenue with as well. So let's get it written. Let's work together. We would love to have you and join us. And that's all I have to say.
Yeah. So go ahead and go to elitebestseller.com/challenge to get our AI challenge. And then you'll get the accountability and all of that as well. And then if you are looking to just get the marketing done or anything else, you can go to our author submission form at eliteonlinepublishing.com. And we look forward to working with you. We hope this was a great training for you and that you'll be using AI and using it the right way and also editing what you use. So you're not just using AI straight out. There's a reason why the schools don't like the kids using it because they want them to learn still, right? So we want it to be your content, but also have it help you. So we look forward to talking to you. Let us know if you have any questions. We'll be checking back on the comments on YouTube and Facebook for other people who are asking questions. And have a wonderful day, you guys. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. We hope you learned a lot and have a great week.
Bye.